Well, everyone, it's one of those days again, and I made so many comparisons about all these phones separated, but now we gotta bring it back and we gotta combine all three of them. And we need to figure out, okay, for you specifically, which iPhone you should get, okay? Should you get, if it's between these three, if you're looking at these three, should you get the iPhone 6s, iPhone 7, or iPhone 8? Now, I will tell you, if you have all the money in the world and money is not an issue, get an iPhone 11 or 11 Pro, or just wait for the iPhone 12s at this point. That'll probably do you much better in the long run. However, with that being said, if it's between these three phones, I'm going to explain to you really quickly the pros of each one of these. And then I'll tell you, for these specific buckets of phones, which one you will probably, enjoy the most. Now, with the iPhone 6s, you're getting a really good balance, I think. I kind of take that back. You're getting like a pretty good priced phone, in my opinion. I think that that's the best way to go about it. You're still getting the same body on all these phones. There's really no major difference between all of them. The only big one is that with the iPhone 7 onwards, you are getting IP certification. However, with that being said, the 6S still got a little bit of water resistance. It was never certified, but just kind of keep that in mind. With my experience with the 6S, it's been pretty good for the most part. Before it was like pretty great. Now it's kind of gotten a little bit lower and lower each year a little bit. And now I'm kind of in the middle. I still think it's a great pickup though, for sure. Especially if you need a side phone, if you need a backup phone in case your main one breaks. You can pick this thing up for around that $100 price tag, which I think is a pretty good price to pay for this phone. But I would recommend paying way less than that, maybe around like $75, $80, and probably less than that for the base model too. The only major thing about the iPhone 6s that I kind of dislike about it would definitely be the battery life. The battery wasn't really that great. I think every other aspect of the device is okay for the most part, but I would just say the battery life is just not that great. And with that being said, I always kind of, am iffy about recommending a phone that doesn't have that great of battery life. So that one is for the iPhone 6s. The iPhone 7, I think, it's definitely an upgrade from the iPhone 6s. You're getting a little bit of a bigger battery. You're getting that IP certification. Performance is supposed to be a little bit better. I've been a little iffy on that too. You're getting a little bit of an upgraded body. You are getting an inbuilt home button that's like different. It's not a clicking home button or whatever. But I think overall, the iPhone 7 is definitely an upgrade. But like I said before, and I've stated this a billion times before, there are issues with this phone that I just cannot explain. For every single iPhone 7 I've ever owned, I've had probably the most amount of issues with this one. It doesn't mean it's a bad phone. It doesn't mean it's a horrible phone or whatever. I'm just saying, from based off my experience, that's something that I've noticed. But I think even at the end of the day, it's okay for the most part, and they're just minor things like random reboots or an update kind of messes up a little bit and you gotta update your phone again. Like, it's just things like that. But I think out of all of these, it's probably the buggiest one out of all of them for sure. Now the last one, the iPhone 8, this one I think is probably one of the most safest iPhones you can buy. It's still pretty much covered under a lot of warranties. Apple's still selling them certified refurbished. I've seen a couple of them go for. Performance is great. The design feels really, really great. It feels very premium. You have glass on the back, which feels really, really good. And it's definitely the most premium feeling one out of all three of these. It's definitely not the best iPhone. It's definitely not the safest iPhone. I would still probably give that to like the iPhone 10 or 10R. But I think this one is a very good priced, safe iPhone. I think it has a lot of capability. The body just got reused again for the SE2, and I really don't have too much to hate on it. Maybe the lack of an extra camera sensor, but out of these three, the iPhone 8 is actually the best one. Like, it's actually noticeably better. Sometimes people just say, oh, it's so much better. Like, going from the 6S to the 7 is kind of an upgrade, but going from the 7 to the 8 is a bigger upgrade for sure. So what I will tell you is, all these phones have their pros, all these phones have their cons, but going with the iPhone 8 is the best option, I would say. You know what I mean? I would still recommend getting an SE2 or getting even an iPhone 8 Plus. I think that phone is better. But with an iPhone 8, I think it's still holding up. I think it still has a lot of value. The iPhone 7 is a very good phone too, don't get me wrong. It just has a couple issues, and the iPhone 6s is a classic. But if you're somebody who needs to save the most amount of money and you need to upgrade your phone or you need to go buy a phone right now, the iPhone 6s isn't a bad option. It'll definitely last you for a couple more years if you really wanted it to. But I would recommend you getting the battery replaced, making sure it's, doesn't have any crazy issues, no random reboots, nothing like that. And as long as you can keep that iPhone 6s running and as long as it's good, then 100% go for it. With the iPhone 7, if you're in the middle between the 6s and 8, I guess you can get the 7. But even then, for people who want to buy the iPhone 7, I would probably recommend going to the iPhone 8. I've kind of been saying that for the last little while, and I 100% agree, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things that I would just feel better and safer to recommending you to buy an iPhone 8 than to buy an iPhone 7. But it's a free world, you can do whatever you want to. But I think the iPhone 8 is probably the best one out of all three of these for sure. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but it actually is the better one out of all three. I'm not just saying that because it's the newer one. Based on all my testing, based on everything, it's the best and probably the safest one out of all of them for sure. So that's really pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.